Hi, you guys. So I presume you're still here for the Getting Past Broken class, since that's what brought you here, right? And I discovered that I had been unsubscribed from Maverick's channel. I was really surprised by that, actually, because I'm nobody. You know, why is this happening to me? And I don't mean like it's not happening to him, because of course it is. But it's not just his channel that I'm experiencing this with, and not everybody's channels that this is happening to me with are like even 1,000 people. So, I'm finding it to be an interesting experience personally. But aside from that, which is irrelevant to our gathering today, I have some questions from the Getting Past Broken section 2 to present to you. He presented them back in October, you guys. I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize I had missed it. And, it should have occurred to me that I hadn't seen anything, but I'm very busy trying to keep up with the climbing people in my professional life, and it's quite exhausting to be in that energy all day long. I'm sorry if my tone has dropped. I have better equipment coming so that I can be more better, bad wording, in making videos. Anyway, so question number 3 was, instead of worrying about things we can't change or control, we need to focus on faith, or what God or Father can do in our lives for us. What are you worrying about? And why are you worrying about it? Like, seriously, what are you worrying about? Now, remember, as I've reminded you before, that I'm not in the same place that you are, and my reasons for taking this class are different than yours, and it has different structure for me. But I'm doing this with you as a guide and support for that. So when I present answers to you, later, it may not look the same as yours, and that's absolutely okay. Don't forget about rigorous honesty. Dig down there, because you're not going to get any truth or any change if you aren't willing to do the work, and it's going to hurt. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been doing this for a long time. It's going to hurt. It hurts me. If it hurts me, it's going to hurt you. I'm experienced at what I'm doing, and it still hurts, so you got to be prepared for that. If you can't take the pain, get out of the game. That's all I gotta say. I'm not saying anything to you I wouldn't say to myself, my own children, my grandchildren, my nieces, my grandnieces, my clients, my colleagues, my supervisors. I'll go there. Yeah, I'm authentic like that. So, then we go into question number 4, right? It says, in what ways have you tried to escape your past pain? And be specific. This is the dirty, right? The dirty little secrets you don't want anybody to know. The things you do that you don't think anybody knows about. The ones that make you feel shame and guilt, conviction. Those, yeah, It's gonna get ugly, right? And when you go into that, beyond that, 4A, why should I deal with it? Why should I deal with my pain? Who cares? It's mine. It's my business. Nobody's business but mine. I can do what I want with it. If I want to keep it, I'll keep it. It's nobody's business. It's not hurting you. It doesn't matter. I can do what I want with it. It's mine. It's not even there. I'm not in pain. Who are you telling me I'm in pain anyway? There's no pain. I hear that all the time. That's why I can say it like that, right? But it's just an example to you of maybe some of your own internal speak, or some of the barriers you might find in there, because that's real. And then we go into 4B. Will there ever really be a right time to deal with this stuff, right? Is there ever a right time to decide, now is the time, right? Because if you keep saying it's not time yet, in the future, or I'll get there, it's not right, it's not right, it's not right. It's never going to be right. Because it's ugly, it's painful. And it's never a right time for that. Unless you make it the right time. Now is the time, because right now I said it's the time. So ask yourself, right? Is it time? Might be. Only you know that. And yes, I'm that hardcore that I am drinking yet more coffee at 8:30 p.m. at night. And I'll have some more too. I assure you. So those are questions 3 and 4 that came out in October, and then the A and B segments just a couple weeks ago. He hasn't brought us 5 and 6 yet. I will work diligently on them and come to you with some answers. I presume, excuse me, presume that since I'm behind, that you're already on this and ahead of it, and that I'm just playing catch up again. But out of respect for the commitment I've made for you, of course, I'm going to go forward with it, doing the work. And then we'll look at 5 and 6. So I'm also working on the process of the project I brought to you, the concept of earlier, about fear to father. And little tiny blurb about where that might have come from, how that's come about, right? So I am doing some work on that. And that is involving the Course in Miracles. Fabulous. Got this whole comprehensive thing. I'm going to pursue whatever it is I have to do to get official to teach from it. I'm already working on that because this is the guidebook I actually understand. I've struggled for years, you guys, with guilt and shame of my inability to read the Bible and comprehend and grasp and understand. And more guilt and shame have been heaped upon me in gigantic amounts by pastors and missionaries and family and teachers and camp counselors and, you know, anybody and everybody that demands that I understand it the way they demand that I understand it, and have no patience or tolerance for my inability to do so, actual physical inability to do so. I have invested as many thousands of hours as any of you have. I have just as many marked up Bibles, dog-eared Bibles, versions of Bibles as any of you have. But I don't understand a single bit of it. And that has brought me a great deal of persecution and turmoil in my life. And it was very, very recently in watching a new person Derek recently mentioned, a Mr. Isaac, I believe. Jacob Isaac. I was watching something that he did the other morning. It was my introduction to him. I was kind of just exploring it before I did some other things. And he was actually speaking words about the number of years that he had spent studying the scriptures. And I was in a moment, an if only moment, right? Because this is real for me, just as for you. It's just in a different place, in a different power position, knowledge-wise, teaching-wise, such as that. Yeah, that's what I meant. Don't get the wrong idea. It's just a word usage thing with my brain injury. But I was actually thinking, if only I had invested all of that time and I actually understood. If only I could, you know, I had been able to comprehend the way I'm slowly learning how to now, back when I had all of that pain and psychological and emotional torture heaped upon me by these people because I couldn't get it. You know, if only. So, you know, there's one of my if onlys, and I was walking through that if only moment of, okay, Deanna, here, look, here's an if only. And it's legitimate, and it's still there because you're here this morning having a conversation about it with Father, family, and fullness of myself. And I'm acknowledging, and in that moment, as the tears started running down my face, it struck me that I don't get it because I wasn't supposed to. That message wasn't for me. My message isn't there. And that is why. And then I was terrified, and I was straight into fear. Boom. Fear. hadn't been in that much fear in a very long time, and it was immediate terror that something was wrong with me and that I misunderstood that, and that couldn't possibly be true because that's where the words in red are. And it really took me some real work, y'all, to come to terms with the fact that the words in red are in a lot of places. They're not always red. They're not always identified the same way, but they're in a lot of places. And that they're in a lot of places because we don't always learn and comprehend the same way. So it brought me a great deal of relief to know and have that instant confirmation that my message isn't in that book. And that's why it's so hard for me. Now, as I'm progressing through this, there are things that are now coming to me when I'm directed there or when I'm participating there with others. But I have many, many scriptures now. The bag that I keep books in is to the hilt full, and I probably couldn't lift it myself to get it out of my car when I get to Arizona. It's full. Got the full-on Course Miracles, full-on Nagamadis, individual texts from Divine Feminines, Marys, all kinds of stuff. Like, I can't even read all this material because I have this professional job too. So it brought me a great deal of relief, relieved a lot of shame and guilt, and empowered me to work through fear that I've had for a lifetime fear barrier of not being able to comprehend the book that you guys call the Holy Bible. And now I'm starting to, but it's not because of that alone. It's not from it standing on its own. It's from a lot of supports, a lot of educators who are far better than I, far more knowledgeable than I, far more gifted than I, far more blessed than I, with far, far more important work to do than I. And then the support of other texts that those very people gave me permission and validated me in reading, because my entire life, that torturous indoctrination of my youth was so strong and so overpowering that even in my adulthood, I couldn't break it on my own. I wouldn't go to those other books. I would dream of going to those other books and be unable to make myself do it, while at the same time knowing that every time I reached for that Bible, it was not going to bring me any joy or peace or comfort or knowledge or food. I would be more hungry leaving than when arriving if I sat down to that book. So, along with that, putting it into place with the class that the system or program, no, conversations, we're going to call it conversations. Okay, so putting that in perspective with the conversations that I'm structuring for us going forward about from fear to Father. And that actually goes from fear to forgiveness to forever to Father. And the first two are a barrier to the last two. And I found myself back there in fear. And I had to work through it. And then I had to forgive myself for allowing myself to be there to begin with. And then I had to further explore. And I was stuck. And there's been several days that I'm supposed to make a video. And I've begged and begged not to have to do it. I've told you previously that I fight and I argue with Father, right? Yeah, I'm not above begging. I'm not. If you've seen my testimony video, it's in a playlist all by itself. I recommend it if you have it, because otherwise I might seem weird to you and you won't understand me at all. You gotta understand me to be able to tolerate these videos. So, I had a barrier on forgiveness. I have a pet problem with my cat. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. He's delightful, but he chose me because we're a lot alike, so he's a little bit psycho and a little bit nuts. So I'll be right back. I love that cat so much. Oh, and that story, so sweet. Our father has the absolute greatest sense of humor. I laugh with him so much all the time, and he's so sweet. The cat actually was sent to me um, because I asked him to teach me something, and well, cat's a good teacher. So anyway, maybe someday I'll tell you that story, but I don't know. It's kind of personal. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit romantic, but anyway. So I begged Father not to make me do something. And there's absolutely no way I can not do it. I have to. So there's going to be a video coming up pretty soon about some forgiveness issues. And you guys, I'm going to tell you right now, you might think I'm nuts. You might get the wrong idea. I can tell you right now, nothing will surprise me, because when I initially was saying the things that I have to apologize for, I received some things that, interesting feedback that was very unpleasant and unkind and warranted at the time. And some people may not like it, but I have a video coming that I have to make, and if people get the wrong idea and become angry and decide to leave us, then all I can say is I love you. It's not my intention to offend. We must all be accountable to correct that which we have done in our past. And on this channel, if you're watching, you might be sharing that with me. So please don't get the wrong idea. So I'm going to leave you now, because I actually do have to go prepare myself to do something that's going to be rather humiliating. And it probably should be. But I definitely would never do any such thing again. I love you all very, very much. Life is changing ever, always. I am going to be having a structure change in my home again very soon, as my sister and her husband get to sign their closing papers on their new house. I'm so excited for them. But she'll be moving like 2.5 hours away from me. So, there's that. Bittersweet, right? Not pleased about that part. So I'm going to go spend a few minutes with her before I regather myself and make that next video. Maybe you'll just realize that I'm some kind of a weird, crazy old lady fool and just giggle at me and think nothing of it, right? That'd probably be the easiest thing for me, but I've got to take responsibility, and it ain't supposed to be easy. I love you guys. Have a great night.